Hi, welcome to Heavy D Storytelling. I'm David Sneathen. I'm going to tell you a story. Oh, here's JJ who wants to talk to you.
Um, okay. I'm just gonna wait till.
Whoa, dude.
Okay. We're just gonna wait till Becca gets on. Becca, is that you? No, it's Mom. Mom, we thought you were Becca. Wireless mouse.
Okay. All right. Maybe you can talk to her after I read. I usually read the Bible first. So let's do that. All right. So today is the 14th. The 14th of May. So we're going to read John chapter 14. Right. Get my flurry of notifications here. All right. Let not your hearts Okay. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I would go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do not know, you do, from now on, you do know him and have seen him. Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Jesus said to him, Have I been with you so long, and you still do not know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, Show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, or else believe on account of the works themselves. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father. Whatever you ask in my name, this I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper to be with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world will see me no more. But you will see me, because I live, you also will live. In that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. Whoever has my commandments and keeps them, he it is who loves me. And he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to him. Judas, not Iscariot, said to him, Lord, how is it that you will manifest yourself to us and not to the world? Jesus answered him, If anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him. Whoever does not love me does not keep my words. And the word that you hear is not mine, but the Father's who sent me. These things I have spoken to you while I am still with you, but the Helper, the Holy Spirit, from whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away, and I will come to you. If you loved me, you would have rejoiced, because I am going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you before it takes place, so that when it does take place, you may believe. I will no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming. He has no claim on me, but I do as commanded me, so that the world may know that I love the Father. Rise, let us go from here. And that's the end of chapter 14. So 15 is I am the vine, you are the branches. So we will get that one tomorrow. I think JJ wanted to say something to Rebecca real fast.
And everyone that watches this video. So I know that we're not doing the video today, the mummies video, but I have something special planned for you next Friday. It's a secret. Oh, why don't we do it this Friday? Sure. And I think Becca's the only one on.
Okay, so we are going to, at this time, we are going to have our synopsis. Here comes Kimberly. Tell us all about what we read yesterday.
So, JJ, stop it, please. So,
I don't think you need to really react to that.
okay. So what happened was, I keep forgetting his name, but I'm pretty sure. Oh,
King Tyrion?
yeah, I was pretty sure. King Tyrion, he asked Aslan to help him contact the Friends of Narnia, and he did. He saw all 7 of the Friends of Narnia, and he told them, he got them interested enough so that they decided to go back to Narnia, and they got the magic rings from the magician's nephew, and just before they were about to put it on, Aslan went ahead and got Eustace and Pole, Eustace and Pole, and they didn't need the rings at all. So there's a possibility that everybody's gonna come, although it's highly unlikely because Aslan said that they weren't ever coming to Narnia ever again. So I highly doubt that. Oh look, there's another person on. Hello. And so let's see. Then they got away from the enemy camp. Then they snuck back to the enemy camp. They King Tyrion, sorry, I'm yeah. Oh, come on, Daniel.
It's actually with
It's whatever. Jinx, you owe me a soda. Okay, so King Tyrion, he then goes over and gets Jewel, his unicorn friend, from behind the stable, I think. And then while they were doing that, she snuck into the stable and got Puzzle, the donkey dressed as a lion, out of the stable. And then after a few minutes, they realized she was gone. And then they were like, oh, what? And then she comes over and is like, hello. And she was like, hey, I got the person who was impersonating Aslan. And it wasn't really his fault. It was all the ape. And da 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 da, you know. And then a little later, they were hearing dwarf drums or something, and so they go over there and they say, "Hey, the person you thought who was Aslan is a fake," and that's practically where we are. Right, Dad?
Yep. And we are in for a journey. So Huh? No, I've read all of them. I always have to remember some of them. This one and The Horse and His Boy, I always forget what they're about, but they're really good. Okay, so and I'm feeling a little bit dizzy tonight, so I might cut it short. We'll see. All right, chapter 7, mainly about dwarves. The two Calormene soldiers at the head of the column, seeing what they took for a Tarkan, or great lord with 2 armed pages, came to a halt and raised their spears in salute. "Oh, my master," said one of them, "we lead these mannikins to Calormen to work in the mines of the Tisroc, may he live forever." Yeah, go get your blanket. This interlude brought to you by JJ's Blanket. JJ, I don't know where it is. Okay, there it is. Did you find it? You found it. All right, so continuing on. Excuse me. "By the great god Tosh, they are very obedient," said Tirion. Then suddenly he turned to the dwarves themselves. About 1 in 6 of them carried a torch, and by that flickering light he could see their bearded faces all looking at him with grim and dogged expressions. "Has the Tisroc fought a great battle, dwarves, and conquered your land?" he asked, "that thus you go patiently to die in the salt pits of Pugaram?" The 2 soldiers glared at him in surprise, but the dwarves all answered, "Aslan's orders! Aslan's orders! He's sold us! What can we do against him?" "Tisroc indeed," added one, and spat. "I'd like to see him try it." "Silence, dogs," said the chief soldier. "Look," said Tirion, pulling Puzzle forward into the light. "It has all been a lie. Aslan has not come to Narnia at all. You have been cheated by the ape. This is the thing he brought out of the stable to show you. Look at it." What the dwarves saw, now that they could see it close, was certainly enough to make them wonder how they had ever been taken in. The lion skin had got pretty untidy already during Puzzle's imprisonment in the stable, and it had been knocked crooked during his journey through the dark wood. Most of it was in a big lump on one shoulder. The head, besides being pushed sideways, had somehow got very far back so that anyone could now see his silly, gentle, donkeyish face gazing out of it. Some grass stuck out of one corner of his mouth, for he'd been doing a little quiet nibbling as they brought him along, and he was muttering, "It wasn't my fault. I'm not that clever. I never said I was." I'm sorry, are you going to continue interrupting the story? Sorry. For 1 second, all the dwarves were staring at Puzzle with wide open mouths, and then one of the soldiers said sharply, "Are you mad, my master? What are you doing to these slaves?" And the other said, "And who are you?" Neither of the spears were at the salute now. Both were down and ready for action. "Give the password," said the chief soldier. "This is my password," said the king as he drew his sword. "The light is dawning. The lie has broken. Now guard thee, miscreant, for I am Tirion of Narnia." He flew upon the chief soldier like lightning. Eustace, who had drawn his sword when he saw the king draw his, rushed at the other one. His face was deadly pale, but I wouldn't blame him for that, and he had the luck that beginners sometimes do have. He forgot all that Tyrion had tried to teach him that afternoon, slashed wildly, indeed I'm not sure his eyes weren't shut, and suddenly found to his own great surprise that the Calormene lay dead at his feet. And though that was a great relief, it was at the moment rather frightening. The king's fight lasted a second or two longer. Then he too had killed his man and shouted to Eustace, "Where are the other two?" But the dwarfs had settled the two remaining Calormenes. There were no enemies left. "Well struck, Eustace," said Tyrion, clapping him on the back. "Now, dwarfs, you are free. Tomorrow I will lead you to free all Narnia. 3 cheers for Aslan!" But the result which followed was simply wretched. There was a feeble attempt from a few dwarfs, about 5, which died away all at once. From several others there were sulky growls. Many said nothing at all. "Don't they understand?" said Jill impatiently. "What's wrong with all you dwarfs? Don't you hear what the king says? It's all over. The ape isn't going to rule Narnia any longer. Everyone can go back to ordinary life. You can have fun again. Aren't you glad?" After a pause of nearly a minute, a not very nice-looking dwarf with hair and beard as black as soot said, "And who might you be, missy?" "I'm Jill," she said, "the same Jill who rescued King Rilian from the enchantment. And this is Eustace, who did it too. And we've come back from another world after hundreds of years. Aslan has sent us." The dwarfs all looked at one another with grins, sneering grins, not merry ones. "Well," said the black dwarf, whose name was Griffel, "I don't know how all you chaps feel, but I feel I've heard as much about Aslan as I want to for the rest of my life." That's right, growled the other dwarfs. "It's all a plant. It's all a bloomin' plant." "What do you mean?" said Tyrion. He had not been pale when he was fighting, but he was pale now. He had thought this was going to be a beautiful moment, but it was turning out more like a bad dream. "You must think we're bloomin' soft in the head, you must," said Griffel. "We've been taken in once, and now you expect us to be taken in again, the next minute. We've no more use for stories about Aslan, you see. Look at him, an old moke with long ears." "By heaven, you make me mad," said Tyrion. "Which of us said that was Aslan? That is the ape's imitation of the real Aslan, can't you understand?" "And you've got a better imitation, I suppose," said Griffel. "No thanks. We've been fooled once, and we're not going to be fooled again." "I have not," said Tyrion angrily. "I serve the real Aslan." "Where is he? Who is he? Show him to us," said several dwarfs. "Do you think I keep him in my wallet, you fools?" said Tyrion. "Who am I that I could make Aslan appear at my bidding? He is not a tame lion." The moment those words were out of his mouth, he realized that he had made a false move. The dwarfs at once began repeating, "Not a tame lion, not a tame lion," in jeering sing-song. "That's what the other lot kept telling us," said one. "Do you mean that you don't believe in the real Aslan?" said Jill. "But I've seen him, and he has sent us two here out of a different world." "Ah," said Griffel, with a broad smile. "So you say. They've taught you your stuff all right, saying your lessons, ain't you?" "Churl," cried Tyrion, "will you give a lady the lie to her very face?" "You keep a civil tongue in your head, mister," replied the dwarf. "I don't think we want any more kings, if you are Tyrion, which you don't look like him, no more than we want any Aslans. We're going to look after ourselves from now on, and touch our caps to nobody. See?" "That's right," said the other dwarfs. "We're on our own now. No more Aslan, no more kings, no more silly stories about other worlds. The dwarves are for the dwarves." And they began to fall into their places and get ready for marching back to somehow. Oh, I skipped a page. Marching back to wherever they had come from. "Little beasts," said Eustace, "aren't you even going to say thank you for being saved from the salt mines?" "Oh, we know all about that," said Griffel over his shoulder. "You wanted to make use of us, that's why you rescued us. You're playing some game of your own. Come on, you chaps. And the dwarves struck up the queer little marching song which goes with the drum beat, and off they tramped into the darkness. Tirian and his friends stared after them. Then he said the single word, "Come," and they continued their journey. They were a silent party. Puzzle felt himself to be still in disgrace, and also he didn't really quite understand what had happened. Jill, besides being disgusted with the dwarves, was very impressed with Eustace's victory over the Calormene, and felt almost shy. As for Eustace, his heart was still beating rather quickly. Tirian and Jewel walked sadly together in the rear. The king had his arm on the unicorn's shoulder, and sometimes the unicorn nuzzled the king's cheek with his soft nose. They did not try to comfort one another with words. It wasn't very easy to think of anything to say that would be comforting. Tirian had never dreamed that one of the results of an ape setting up a false Aslan would be to stop people from believing in the real Aslan. He had felt quite sure that the dwarves would rally to his side the moment he showed them how they had been deceived. And then, the next night, he would have led them to Stable Hill and shown Puzzle to all the creatures, and everyone would have turned against the ape, and perhaps after a scuffle with the Calormenes, the whole thing would have been over. But now, it seemed, he could count on nothing. How many other Narnians might turn the same as the dwarves? "Somebody's coming after us, I think," said Puzzle suddenly. They stopped and listened. Sure enough, there was a thump-thump of small feet behind them. "Who goes there?" shouted the king. "Only me, sire," came a voice. "Me, Poggin the dwarf. I've only just managed to get away from the others. I'm on your side, sire, and on Aslan's. If you can put a dwarfish sword in my fist, I'll gladly strike a blow on the right side before all's done." Everyone crowded round him and welcomed him and praised him and slapped him on the back. Here's a picture of the lone dwarf, as we might call him. Of course, one single dwarf could not make a very great difference, but it was somehow very cheering to have been even one. The whole party brightened up, but Jill and Eustace didn't stay bright for very long, for they were now yawning their heads off and too tired to think about anything but bed. It was at the coldest hour of the night, just before dawn, that they got back to the tower. If there had been a meal ready for them, they would have been glad enough to eat, but the bother and delay of getting one was not to be thought of. They drank from a steam, splashed their faces with water, and tumbled into their bunks, except for Puzzle and Jewel, who said they'd be more comfortable outside. Steam, not stream. Oh, it does say stream. They drank from a stream, not a steam. Okay. Good call, Daniel. This perhaps was just as well, for a unicorn and a fat, full-grown donkey indoors always make a room feel rather crowded. Narnian dwarves, though less than 4 feet high, are for their size about the toughest and strongest creatures there are, so that Poggin, in spite of a heavy day and a late night, woke fully refreshed before any of the others. He at once took Jill's bow, went out and shot a couple of wood pigeons. Then he sat plucking them on the doorstep and chatting to Jewel and Puzzle. Puzzle looked and felt a good deal better this morning. Jewel, being a unicorn and therefore one of the noblest and most delicate of beasts, had been very kind to him, talking to him about things of the sort that they could both understand, like grass and sugar and the care of one's hoofs. When Jill and Eustace came out of the tower, yawning and rubbing their eyes at almost 10:30, the dwarfs showed them where they could gather plenty of Narnian weed called wild fresney, which looks rather like our wood sorrel, but tastes a good deal nicer when cooked. Hey, Daniel, let's not have the interruptions, okay? It needs a little butter and pepper to make it perfect, but they hadn't these, so that with one thing and another, they had the makings of a capital stew for their breakfast or dinner. whichever you choose to call it. Easton. All right. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted. Tirion went a little further off into the wood with an axe and brought back some branches for fuel. While the meal was cooking, which seemed a very long time, especially as it smelled nicer and nicer the nearer it came to being done, the king found a complete dwarfish outfit for Poggin: mail shirt, helmet, shield, sword, belt, and dagger. Then he inspected Eustace's sword and found that Eustace had put it back in the sheath all messy from killing the Calormene. He was scolded for that and made to clean it and polish it. All this while Jill went to and fro, sometimes stirring the pot and sometimes looking out enviously at the donkey and the unicorn, who were contentedly grazing. How many times that morning she wished she could eat grass. But when the meal came, everyone felt it had been worth waiting for, and there were second helpings all around. When everyone had eaten as much as he could, the 3 humans and the dwarf came and sat on the doorstep. The 4-footed ones lay down facing them. The dwarf, with permission both from Jill and from Tirion, lit his pipe, and the king said, "Now, friend Poggin, you have more news of the enemy, belike, than we. Tell us all you know. And first, what tale do they tell of my escape?" "As cunning a tale, sire, as ever was devised," said Poggin. "It was the cat Ginger who told it, and most likely made it up too. This Ginger, sire, oh, he's a sly boots if ever a cat was, said he was walking past the tree to which those villains bound your majesty, and he said, saving your reverence, that you were howling and swearing and cursing Aslan. Language I wouldn't like to repeat were the words he used, looking ever so prim and proper, you know, the way a cat can when it pleases. And then, says Ginger, Aslan himself suddenly appeared in a flash of lightning and swallowed your majesty up in one mouthful. All the beasts trembled at this story, and some fainted right away, and of course the ape followed it up. There, he says, see what Aslan does to those who don't respect him? Let that be a warning to you all." And the poor creatures wailed and whined and said, "It will, it will." So that in the upshot your majesty's escape has not set them thinking whether you will still be loyal friends to aid you, but only made them more afraid and more obedient to the ape. "What devilish policy," said Tirion. "This Ginger, this then is close in the ape's counsels?" "It's more a question by now, sire, if the ape is in his counsels," replied the dwarf. "The ape has taken to drinking, you see. My belief is that the plot is now most carried on by Ginger or Rishta, that's the Calormene captain, and I think some words that Ginger has scattered among the dwarves are chiefly to blame for the scurvy return they made you. And I'll tell you why. One of those dreadful midnight meetings had just broken up the night before last, and I'd gone a bit of the way home when I found I'd left my pipe behind. It was a real good 'un, an old favourite, so I went back to look for it. But before I got to the place where I'd been sitting, it was black as pitch there, I heard a cat's voice say, 'Mew!' and a Calormene voice say, 'Here, speak softly.' So I just stood as still as if I was frozen, and these two were Ginger and Rishta Tarkan, as they call him, noble Tarkan. And," said the cat in silky voice of his, "I just wanted to know exactly what we both meant today about Aslan meaning no more than Tosh." "Doubtless, most sagacious of cats," said the other, "you have perceived my meaning. You mean," says Ginger, "that there's no such person as either." "All who are enlightened know that," said the Tarkan. "Then we can understand one another," purrs the cat. "Do you, like me, grow a little weary of the ape?" "A stupid greedy brute," says the other, "but we must use him for the present. Thou and I must provide for all things in secret and make the ape do our will." "And it would be better, wouldn't it," said Ginger, "to let some of the more enlightened Narnians into our councils, one by one as we find them apt. For the beasts who really believe in Aslan may turn at any moment, and will if the ape's folly betrays his secret. But those who care neither for Tash nor Aslan, but have only an eye to their own profit, and such reward as the Tisroc may give them when Narnia is a Calormene province, will be firm." "Excellent cat," said the captain, "but choose which ones carefully." While the dwarf had been speaking, the day seemed to have changed. It had been sunny when they sat down. Now Puzzle shivered. Jewel shifted his head uneasily. Jill looked up. "It's clouding over," she said. "And it's so cold," said Puzzle. "Cold enough, by the lion," said Tyrion, blowing on his hands. "And foe, what foul smell is this?" "Phew!" gasped Eustace. "It's like something dead. Is there a dead bird somewhere about? And why didn't we notice it before?" With a great upheaval, Jules scrambled to his feet and pointed with his horn. "Look!" he cried. "Look at it! Look! Look!" Then all 6 of them saw, and over all their faces there came an expression of uttermost dismay. Maybe that's where we should end it today. Chapter 8, What News the Eagle Brought. Come on, what? Come on, you're saying, come on, let's wait till tomorrow?
No, come on, let's do it today.
Okay, we'll have to see. JJ, are you awake? There's a growling monster in his room. Oh, Rebecca says another chapter. All right. Where are you going, Kimmy? Daniel's not asleep. So, Rebecca, if you have any idea what's going to happen, let me know what you think it might be. It's actually been a while since I've read this book, so I'm not 100% certain. Rebecca says she's not sure what's going to happen. That's good. That's because this is a well-written book. I haven't read this in a while either. That's because it's a well-written book. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Even though I've read it 3 times, I'm still a little bit clueless. It's been a while. All right, so this interlude is brought by Kimberly's pencil. JJ, get back in your room. JJ, get back in your room. I don't think we're going to be able to continue because, everybody's getting out of bed. I think I'm going to have to wrangle up some people.
I'm out of pencils too. Like Kimmy, I'm a Kimmy. Can I have a pencil? No, yours, they're Dad's pencils.
Everybody's out of bed. I think that I need to go put them in bed, and then we'll see about continuing this. Because I don't think that I can't. The point of this is that we're trying to settle down into bed.
I am
and nobody is settling down into bed. All right, Daniel, get in your room.
I don't want to.
Daniel.
I want to go to bed right now.
All right. All right, good night.
Let's keep going.
All right, JJ says keep going. Here we go. I'm gonna try. I am getting a little tired. I'm a little dizzy. I don't know why I'm dizzy tonight. JJ, I can't read if you're not in your room. I'm really sorry. Okay. All right, they're taking turns now, distracting me on purpose. You know what? It's been such a, I don't even remember what just happened. Something about they saw something in utter dismay. They smelled something. Well, that's what the chapter's called. What news the eagle brought, chapter 8. All right, I'm sorry. We'll have to continue this tomorrow. I've got disobedient children now that I'm going to have to put in bed. So we'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good night. Well, you guys have a good night, and I'm gonna continue reading this tomorrow. I'm sorry. I need to go make sure the kids stay in bed. So, oh, Daniel didn't take his meds.
Or it's 2 o'clock.
Go, Daniel. Go take your meds. All right, so we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm sorry, maybe we'll get 3 chapters in tomorrow, and we'll find out what it is that they saw in utter dismay, and what news the eagle brought. And JJ is still running around the house, and I don't know what to even do. All right, good night. God bless you.